Profiletraders. This is Reza and you're listening to my market analysis for Friday, January the 8th. Looking at this profile here, we can see that it was another very wide range, extremely volatile with a pretty catastrophic close at the very bottom of the range, indicating that without any question or doubt, the sellers won the battle for Friday and as well for the whole week. And according to the Wall Street Journal, this was the very worst start of January ever experienced in the market. So to better understand what's going on in here, last time, if you listen to my market analysis, I went through the whole situation around the world and analyzed every place in detail, showing you that there is not one single spot on the planet now that is not in a situation of either a turmoil, economic pushback, or military conflict. And I said, if this whole last leg down of the Chinese market collapse that was somehow and for absolutely no reason retraced back up, I said that now if the problems are back with this Chinese issue, this whole leg down up here will be deleted, and I called price to come first to 1900 and then for a retest of this 1860, 1850. Well, from the last recap to today, we are at 1930 and we have dropped 13 points shy of 1900, which most likely will be reached. However, you have to be aware of the importance of this coming week, and I am expecting an extraordinary aggressive week. We will either retrace up to 2000 on the upside, or it will be a literal meltdown where we are going to come down for a test of 1830, and then from that point on, market will decide if it wants to crash or if it wants to hold this very last low we saw right around 1830. And the reason why I'm saying that is twofold. That number one, we are going into the earnings seasons. I can tell you that a lot of players bought the market thinking that earnings season will bail them out. And two, we are going into an option expiration week. That also, most of the time, they buy it because option expiration week are usually weeks that market go up. So there is a lot of money invested on the long side that are not trapped. Either somehow miraculously they will able to save the market, and if they do save the market, because we have earnings and option expiration, they can create one of the most aggressive short covering rally you are going to probably experience this whole month. If that's the case, I can see very well by the end of the week the market be back towards 2000. And if they don't, and all that money that is being invested on the long side has to liquidate because there is no push up, then the drop could become quite catastrophic and dramatic to the downside. So be very aware that this week will be war, one way or another. And the action of Monday most likely will indicate which direction the market wants to take for the week. As far as support resistance levels, the very first level of resistance is right now 1926 and a quarter. second level of resistance 1931, then 1936 and a quarter, and if we can pass through 1936 and a quarter, I'm suspecting that price should come up towards 1944. As for to the downside, obviously the very first amount to look for is 1900. If 1900 doesn't hold price, next level to the downside, I do not have anything besides 1865. So below 1900, the drive to the downside should accelerate quite dramatically, and next level of support below 1900 will be 1865, and past that 1837. Now for crude, as I explained the last time, there is no more OPEC, doesn't exist, it's gone. Every single OPEC member is the enemy of the other one, and therefore it is now a free-for-all. Anyone with oil wants to produce or increase their outputs at the most that they can. They are willing to definitely sell their oil at whatever price below the market so that they can screw the other country, get their market shares, raise as much as money as they can, because every single country, starting from Saudi Arabia to Iran to Iraq to whatever other country that is oil producer, are suffering greatly for money. And as they are suffering greatly for money and having oil as their only commodities to be able to sell, every single one is doing whatever they can to sell as much as they can. Therefore, looking at this chart, it's still looking terribly weak. Even on this Friday, we couldn't manage to close at the high of the day. We ended up closing right at this 32.86 here, which is very close to the low of the day. And nothing really was achieved here, because as long as the high is contained by this, I would say this session here is what is containing the range now. So the range goes from 34.26 to a low of 32.10, and until we do not exit either to the upside of 34.26 or to the downside of 32.10, I'm afraid that this is going to continue to churn within that range. When you are in a trading range like that, until we do not exit out of the boundaries high or boundary low of the trading range, one is better off to buy as close as possible to the low of the range and sell as close as possible to the high of the range until one of these two levels would decide to exit on the upside or to the downside. So right now the selling range, one moment please. The selling range, as far as I'm concerned, will be between 34.05 to 34.25, and the buying range, as far as I'm concerned, will be 32.28 to 32.10. So best way is to let price come into that area, and then if it exits back up, one can buy it on a cross from the second level using the lower level as a stop. Or if it doesn't hold this level and breaks, then you know that you have a break in your hand, and then your strategy will be different than trading a trading range. So that's it for today. This was Reza with Profiletraders. If you wish to learn market profile, my style, join my trading room for 1 year. You can get it all from my website. The package is $550, money back guaranteed. www.profiletraders.com. Have a great weekend and see you on Monday.